I don't know how I feel about this, but here goes.
Got this.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Keysi, and this is gonna be the hardest video I've ever had to film, I think. But here goes nothing. So about a few months ago, I got a diagnosis of ADHD from my therapist, and when I sought out the evaluation and assessment, I was pretty much self-diagnosing myself without even having a diagnosis. But I knew that it was something that I needed to do. Even with having 2 kids with autism, I knew that it's a genetic thing. Like if it's not this, it's this. But even when I was getting ready to film this video, I was still trying to figure out, how do I navigate my life now that I know that this is a part of me, a part of my story. So where do I start? I thought this wasn't gonna be a part of my story, but it is. And when I got the letter from my therapist, I was relieved, and I was also sad, because I lived without knowing this for most of my life, and now that I know it, it was just like a shock kind of to the system. And I'm happy that I finally know, and now that I have clarity on it, I still don't know how to manage it. So once I found out I have this diagnosis, it explained a lot. It explained a lot to me personally, because those things that I'm interested in, the stuff that I like to do, my passions, it goes along with someone who has ADHD and also has a creative thinking to it. Because, for example, I love history, I love reading, and I love the arts, photography, drawing, painting. I literally, up on my wall somewhere here, I have a huge wall of my favorite paintings from favorite artists that I love to look at, and it makes me wonder, like, there's so many things that even they went through while they were enjoying their craft and doing their craft, that no one ever really thought of that. And I've written like biographies about each of them, and it made me wonder so much. So that was something that I was always like hyper focused on, and my thoughts always gravitated towards that. And even growing up now as an adult, I still like all these things: history, reading, arts, English language arts, all that stuff. So my therapist told me that I am considered a combined subtype of ADHD, where I have like impaired attention span, difficulty sustaining attention, and easily distracted by certain things, and also distracted by like my own internal thoughts. When it comes to organizational skills, I can be forgetful. Forgetfulness can lead to not knowing where I put a certain thing when I knew it was there. Like, for example, this pen, I could have put it on the table, and then it falls down, and then I'm looking for it and I can't remember where I put it last. And attention to details, that's also another symptom that I have. And like I said earlier, losing things that are useful or needed in a task. And I also, which is something that I always do, I have what is called rapid streams of thought. So I can be talking about one thing and then another thought just comes into my mind and I want to talk about that instead. And then struggles with relaxation or staying still, I can fidget like nobody's business. So it can be moving around in my chair, not being able to sit still. Like, well, right now I just need to adjust myself so I can feel comfortable. But yeah, so fidget, moving, talking excessively. So those are relentless behaviors. Thing. Okay. So there's a lot of like science of ADHD where they talk about like dopamine and norepinephrine, and there's a lot of things that a person with ADHD, their brain is wired differently. Same as a person with autism, their brain is wired differently. There's different connections between language and speech that we can sometimes have difficulty with. And then also people with ADHD have co-occurring conditions. Like for me, I have anxiety and social anxiety, and that is something that is hard for me to manage at times. I've tried medication, but it was something that was just, it worked for a bit, and then thinking about it, I was like, you have so many other coping skills and strategies. You should try these, or like natural remedies that I've seen coming across. But there's a lot of science through it, and I don't want to bore you guys with the details. But the one thing that I've done and realized is that ADHD for me is not like a learning disability. It's not a disability that can excuse the lack of can excuse laziness. No, ADHD is not something that can be excused for laziness or not having the willpower. So it doesn't impact like our daily functions, if you understand what I mean. It's just that neurologically speaking, there's a lot of differences between a neurotypical person and a typical person. So we go through things in a different way and kind of like understand things differently, and then our problem solving skills are probably not at the same level as a regular typical person would be. So one of the things that I've done as far as like coping strategies and skills and supports that I have for myself is tools to like manage my time, because I think my symptoms didn't really start, or I didn't realize them until I was away for college, because that's where you have to like manage your own life. Your parents aren't there. You got to do everything yourself. And when I was there, I was happy to be away from my family and being more independent. But then when it came to doing all of my classes and all that stuff, I had the poorest organization skills known to man. I had to learn all these things to manage them. Going to therapy, that was another thing that I still do currently, but I didn't really focus on going to therapy until I had my first son, and I experienced postpartum depression for the first time. But the first time was very mild. I feel like when I had my second son, that's when postpartum depression hit me even harder. What else? Exercising, nutrition, that's also something that helps with people with ADHD that I've read about, and I've continued to have like those healthy habits, especially sleeping. Sleeping is one. There's times where I can be up for hours and hours and hours. And then I researched and I found out that sometimes a person with ADHD can be up for more hours than a regular person. Or we can sleep for a little bit and then have a boost of energy that other people don't have. I've also, this is an ongoing thing, I've been working on like my communication skills and actively listening to people, especially when it comes to my kids, because they also need to learn communication skills and how to be good listeners. But that also comes with age. Most kids at their age, not to say that every kid doesn't follow directions, but some kids, you need to like have constant reminders for them. And for me, I feel like having those visual schedules and planners and reminders and knowing what to say and not to say at certain times helped me a lot. And it's still like a learning process. Currently, right now, I'm just trying to focus on the strengths and not the negative about it. And there's just so much that I can say, but I don't want to make this video an hour long of me just rambling and talking about certain things when I am gonna go all over the place. So I definitely encourage, if you got any comments on, and if there is anyone else out there who just recently got diagnosed with this as an adult or got diagnosed earlier in their life, and if you can share some tips, I would appreciate it, because I'm still learning. And even though I have 2 kids on the autism spectrum, there's so many different symptoms that ASD kids have and ADHD kids have that are just completely different, and some are the same. So that's why I think the science surrounding ADHD has kind of like meshed with some of what autism has. But yeah, so now I'm just trying to get back into the things that I love to do, and now filming these videos is one of them, and journaling, reading. I even got this cool new journal from another fellow YouTuber, Natalie's Outlet, who also has ADHD. And when I saw her video about her talking about how she was diagnosed, it kind of made me feel better and made me realize that I'm not alone. There's other people out there. And yeah, so if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next vlog or video. Love you. Bye.